You're born in 356 BC into what everyone agrees is the greatest bloodline in the known world. Not cursed enough to die young, not free enough to live any other way. Just dropped into Pella, Macedonia. Stone walls, horse sweat, iron in the air. With a mother who swears you're the son of a god and a father who's already conquered half of Greece before you cut your first tooth. Your mother fills your head with Achilles. Your father fills his days with other men's cities. Pella isn't a place that raises boys. It raises replacements. You are the replacement, the one Philip II has been building towards since before you could walk or understand what it means to inherit a war. That sounds impressive from the outside. From the inside, it feels like standing at the edge of something with no bottom and being told to jump. You will. You don't get a choice. Age 7, the lessons begin. Not reading, not music. Horsemanship first, then wrestling, then the kind of fighting that happens when two men want the same thing and one has to stop wanting it. The training ground smells like sweat, leather, and horses. It clings to your clothes the way Macedonian expectations cling to everything else. Boys in the farming villages south of Pella are learning to plant wheat this season. You're learning to fall correctly so you can get up and keep going. Your mother works on you from the other direction. Every night, Achilles. Not the long life and the quiet death, but the short life and the name that never fades. She says it like it's obvious. You are 7 years old and already being asked to choose between two kinds of loss. Age 10, a horse arrives. Black, enormous, unrideable. Philip's best men try and fail in front of the whole court. You notice something nobody else has. It's afraid of its own shadow. You turn it toward the sun, you ride it clean. Philip watches you return and says quietly that Macedonia is too small for you. It sounds like pride. It is also a verdict. Age 13, the philosopher arrives. Philip hires Aristotle, the best mind in the Greek world, and sends you both to Mysa, a shaded garden retreat 3 days' ride from court. For 3 years, medicine, rhetoric, botany, philosophy, literature. The air there smells like pine resin and old parchment. You sit in the garden and learn how the human body works, how arguments are constructed, how the natural world holds itself together. For a moment, it looks like an exit from everything waiting for you at home. Maybe you could have been a scholar. The thought lasts about as long as it takes to remember who is paying for the lessons and why. You sleep with the Iliad under your pillow. Not as inspiration, as instruction. Achilles isn't a story you admire. He's a standard you're measuring yourself against every night before you close your eyes. Age 16. Philip leaves you as regent while he campaigns in Thrace. Boys your age are grinding grain, minding their father's fields. A neighboring tribe tests the arrangement. You crush them, take the land, and found a city on the site. You name it Alexandropolis. You are 16. You are already naming things after yourself. Nobody says this is a warning sign. It is. You are 20 when your father is stabbed at his own daughter's wedding. A royal bodyguard named Pausanias does it in broad daylight, in front of the court, in front of the guests, in front of you. The blood on the palace floor is still wet when the question of who ordered it starts circulating. Olympias's name comes up. You don't investigate too hard. There are questions more dangerous than their answers. The Greek city-states hear 20-year-old king and read weakness. Thebes and Athens move almost immediately. It's a reasonable calculation. You march south in 2 weeks. Thebes chooses to resist. You raise it, 6,000 killed, 30,000 enslaved, the air thick with smoke and the sound of a city that used to exist. You spare the temples and the house of Pindar the poet. Because you've read him and you believe in a specific kind of message. Total destruction with visible exceptions. So no one mistakes it for a loss of control. That sounds brutal. It was supposed to. The rest of Greece goes quiet. You didn't want to destroy Thebes. That's probably even true. But wanting and surviving have become different things now, and you've already learned which one spends. Persia is next. 334 BC. You cross the Hellespont with 40,000 men and no plan to come back. The water is cold and the crossing takes all day. And the moment you land, you throw a spear into Asian soil and claim the continent by right of conquest. Theatrical, also accurate. Granicus comes first. A Persian force holds the far bank. Your generals advise waiting. You cross immediately, riding into arrows and river water and the particular noise a cavalry charge makes when it hits resistance. In the middle of it, a Persian cavalryman gets behind you with a raised sword. Clitus the Black cuts him down before the blow lands. You note the debt. You keep moving. Gordian Knot, 333 BC. An ancient prophecy. Whoever unties it rules Asia. Every king before you has tried. You cut it with your sword. Not clever, efficient. Issus, 333 BC. Darius III commands an army that swallows the horizon. You ride straight for the center, straight for Darius himself. He turns his chariot and flees. His mother, wife, and daughters are left behind. You treat them with formal courtesy. Partly honor, partly the kind of message that travels faster than armies. Men your age back in Macedonia are getting married. You are running out of map. 331 BC, Gaugamela. Darius has had 2 years to prepare and he uses them. Flat, open ground, chosen specifically to kill your cavalry advantage. He fields an army estimated at 200,000. You have 47,000. The air before the battle smells like dust and livestock and the particular tension of men who have done the arithmetic and don't like the answer. You hold your right flank under pressure. Watch the Persian line stretch trying to match you, and when the gap opens in their center, you drive through it like a nail. Straight for Darius. He flees for the second time. 3 centuries of Persian Empire end in an afternoon. Egypt receives you as a liberator. The priests at the oracle of Siwa declare you the son of Zeus Ammon. You don't correct them. It's useful not to correct them, and somewhere underneath the usefulness, you're not entirely sure they're wrong. Your Macedonian officers hear this and say nothing to your face. Persepolis burns in 330 BC. Vengeance for Athens, they say. The smoke is visible for 3 days. You are 25. You have run out of enemies worthy of the name. That is the problem. You only know how to move forward. Standing still feels like dying. The further east you go, the less Greece matters and the more you need it to. Bactria, 329 BC. No open plains, no Darius to chase. Mountain passes that smell like ice in altitude. Rivers that freeze at night. Men behind rocks who know this ground the way you know Homer. You start wearing Persian dress. You demand the ritual prostration, proskynesis, that Persian kings receive. Your Macedonian officers swallow their opinions. 328 BC. A banquet. Wine and old arguments. Clitus the Black, the man who saved your life at Granicus, drinks too much and says what the others won't. That you've forgotten where you came from. That you're calling yourself a god while better men die for you in the mud. You kill him with a spear before the sentence is finished. You lock yourself in your tent for 3 days. You don't eat. Then you emerge. Then you continue. India, 326 BC, you cross the Hindu Kush, win the Battle of Hydaspes in driving monsoon rain, and lose Bucephalus, the horse you tamed at 10, dead at the edge of the known world. You name a city after him. Then your army stops at the Hyphasis River. 9 years, 8,000 kilometers. They will not take another step. You rage. You sulk for 3 days. They do not move. You are 30 when you turn west. Not in defeat, just turned, the way you turn from a problem when it runs out of edges. The ground was a continent. You pushed it as far as men would follow. The march back through the Gedrosian Desert, 325 BC, is your idea. Chosen to prove it can be done. It cannot be done without catastrophic loss. The desert is flat, white, and merciless. No water, no shade, no enemy to fight, just heat and thirst and the arithmetic of open ground. Thousands die walking, not from any weapon, just from the sun and the distance. When your horse gives out, you walk with the men. When there isn't enough water, you pour your share into the sand in front of them. The gestures are real. They don't save anyone. Men your age back in Macedonia have children who are learning to walk. You have bones in the Gedrosian sand and a plan to reach Babylon. You reach it in 323 BC, Arabian campaign next, then Carthage. The plans are detailed and serious and completely consistent with a man who has never once considered stopping. Then the fever arrives. Your generals ask who inherits the empire. You say, to the strongest or nothing. The sources disagree. You die on June 10th or 11th, 323 BC. The sources can't agree on the date. They agree on everything else. 13 days of fever in the palace of Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. The room is hot. The air is still. Age 32. The body presenting the bill for Granicus, Gaugamela, the Gedrosian desert, Clitus, a decade of wounds, and a quantity of wine that would have killed a smaller ambition years earlier. Not a glorious death. A sick man in a hot room getting quieter. His generals begin dividing the empire before the body is cold. Within 2 years, open war. Within 20, the thing he built in 13 years does not exist as a single entity anywhere on Earth. Roxane gives birth to his son after his death, Alexander IV, murdered at 13 by one of his father's former generals. His body embalmed, stolen, displayed in Alexandria, eventually lost. And nobody knows where Alexander is buried. Somewhere in the wreckage, Macedonia, Persia, Egypt, Bactria, a child is growing up in the ruins of an empire built on one man's refusal to stop. They are learning what it means to inherit something too large to hold and too broken to put down. And somewhere, a boy is starting to wonder why they named the city after someone who never came back.